Hey, good morning, Scary Champion, Psychic Medium. Today's video is about harmony and balance within your life. And I never used to have that. This is one part of your brain is fighting another part of your brain, or the reality of your existence is being challenged by your brain or your imagination. And that's a bold statement, I'd say. But the further along the spiritual path I went, the more I began to do things for other people for no reason. The more I was trying to be helpful, even kind of, even whether it hurt me, which, people get angry because you say something. And those people are angry for a good reason because they're not in tune with who they are. We tend to believe concepts that other people say, oh, that sounds good, that must be real. And we incorporate it into our life I have a bunch of those. And then they prove to be false. They're just statements that people are saying. And every person's understanding of things is different. That's why there's so many different variations of something like cars or motorcycles or ink pens, or everybody's um, concept of what's going on is different. You can sit right next to someone and discuss something very simple like pancakes or waffles and get completely different ideas about it. So the only true answer is that which resonates with you. You're the ultimate arbiter of good taste when it comes to what's true for you. It may not be true for the guy next door, but um, what's true for you is something you should discover, and discover it through whatever way you need to. I internally am always dredging up things and discarding things that I thought were real, which now occur to me are not, simply because my life experience has taught me one thing, and I've thrown most of that out. The way you're raised, the way you uh, doesn't work with food very well. I still like the old foods if I can get them, and I have to monitor what I eat. Now, even though my blood sugars just drop for no reason, and my blood pressure's dropped for no reason, I'm not taking any drugs for either one of them. I'm in some kind of remission. Um, that's my reality. What used to be was pills. And then we begin meditating. And then you begin doing other things, which I won't discuss, which have brought about this change in my body uh, and how it reacts to the world. Um, Blood pressure comes down because you no longer believe in the things that were driving it up. I've got to get to work. I've got to do so much of this. I've got to do so much of that. And then I've got to do that. Your blood pressure just keeps going up and up and up. And if you eliminate my understanding of the need of those things and just discard them, I no longer feel the need to do that. Occasionally make a video. I do readings. I'm writing on a couple of books. And working on my look to be kind of an old wino. That's what this is. It's kind of an old wino look. But reality for you is not reality for me, because I've gone through a spiritual change, understanding that everything you see and hear is definitely not true and definitely not applicable to me. Living outside the law. Let's take that as an example. I tend to ignore a lot of laws. I'm going to be honest about it. There's a lot of laws that are on the books that I could be prosecuted for that I just totally ignore. Why? Because they no longer fit into my reality. They're dumb laws. You know which ones I'm talking about. They're just dumb laws. They don't make any sense. Yet we have to live by them, and I just choose not to. And if I get caught at it or someone calls me out on it, I'll pay whatever the consequences are. But I'm not going to keep living a lie, which to me, that's what that is. When you're living by rules that no longer are applicable to you, you're living someone else's life. There's some guys in Austin where the Congress is, the state legislature decides that thou shalt not do this, and there's a bunch of old white guys. I swear it is. They make decisions because they don't want to do it. They don't want you to do it. So I sort of view laws as, suggestions. It's suggested that I not do this, where everything inside me says this is the thing to do. This will bring you peace and harmony. That's the name of this video, Harmony. And how do I know that? Through experience. I try something, it brings me harmony, brings me closer to myself, and an understanding of who I am and where I'm going and how it all ends. The arc of life. You start out young and full of beans, and you achieve some kind of something up here, and then as age gets you, you begin to fall off. That's the reality of the rainbow of life, or the curve of life, or the arc of life. And everybody has to live it. Understanding it helps a lot. No, I can no longer jog. I didn't like it anyway. But there's a lot of things I can't do anymore. I know your mind's not that one. That one works very well. There's a lot of things you just can't do anymore. Aches and pains. Your brain doesn't click in when it should. And I stand around trying to remember names of people I'm supposed to know, but I can't call them up. I can't get into it. And I'm thinking, why am I even trying? What's the point? Probably because I'm telling a story or a joke or something, and the name would help. It's a story that's important. Names don't really matter. I can always remember the story, but not always the names. So we start off here as children, and we learn and we learn and we learn, and we learn other people's truths. So we're up here, we're achieving, we're at the top of the pyramid, we're at our very best, and it's all baloney. You're repeating something this guy did to get there. Is getting there that important? For me, it wasn't. Couldn't even see it, couldn't even think this level up here, had no concept of what it was. And when I saw people who were at that level or talked to them as a medium, I understood they were so unhappy they couldn't function, that achieving life's goals left them empty. What am I going to do now? Well, now's that slide downward where you lose your job or get demoted, and you get a cheaper car, and you downsize on your house, and you learn to take vacations, and life just eludes us. What is the point? What have we achieved? If you're happy with getting to the top of the pyramid, then life is good for you. It wasn't for me. I didn't even care about the pyramid or who was on it. I was self-employed most of my life. I guess at least 50 years. I never worked for anybody. Um, as I've said before, whenever you do something by committee, it's going to be messed up. So it's not going to be anything that's any good. Because you got 12 people with 12 different ideas, and it's a compromise. It's not what works. It's what you can vote on that will be achievable. But it's not the best solution. It never is. Anyway, talking about spirituality, the understanding of your life or my life and what I've achieved and what I haven't achieved, what would I like to see happen, is part of uh, achieving understanding of who you are and where you came from and where you're going. Everybody should have a long talk with themselves about where does all this end. And I could throw some things out, but I'm not going to. Is there a heaven? Is there a hell? I guess I am going to throw them out. Um, did I do the best I could do while I was here? Did I just mostly just waste a lot of time? You have one chance to go through this life. You got one time. You foul it up, you foul it up. You can't go back and redo it. If you do it right, it's right forever. A lot of that stuff you carry to the other side and mentor other people. Anyway, everybody should come to an understanding about who they are, where they're going. How am I going to get there? What will be the results when I do that? If I spend a lot of time at work where my children even know me, that would happen to me. Spent a lot of time at work, came home one night and they didn't know me. Not a good feeling. You've wasted time doing things that were not important. That was what was important. And I messed it up. Can't go back and fix it. All I can do is do better and understand my part in messing up my life. You can correct things. You can do a better life after that. You learn to adjust and to improve spiritually. What's important, what isn't important. So all kinds of things go with that. All kinds of consequences. Yeah, you got the big house, you got the new car, you got this and that and the other, but you're not right in here. What's important is this. Everything else should come second or third or fourth. But how do you feel about yourself and where you've come from and the arc of your life? Because we're all going to start here, we're all going to get here, and we're all going to end up down here. This is where I'm at, down here toward the end. You don't see the consequences of it until you're down at that point. Then you say, "Oh, I could have done that better." I have no regrets. I'm one of those people that doesn't believe in regrets. I did the best I could, and at the time, and I'm not able to fix it. Don't even care if I do. That's part of the learning process. You make mistakes and you correct them if you can. If you can't correct them, you still learn something from it. The arc of life. So no fear, no regret, no anger. Thanks for watching.